so I'll try to walk you through everything, what's going to happen. You'll see some changes to the program. You probably looked online, and it's a little bit different. I'll explain as we go, but unfortunately, have you heard about that weird thing, COVID? Yeah, it still exists, by the way, and people still catch it. So we have lost 2 speakers, one definitely because of COVID, the second one probably is still going through the testing. So it is what it is. We have made some quick changes. So this is going to be tonight's program. We'll start with Stefan and Aleksandrs. They are already here. They will tell you about lots of things. We will get into that later. Then we get Elena. Then Gatis will talk, and then we'll have 15 minutes. If you haven't ate everything already, then we'll get back to that. And then we get to the second part where we will have Kaspars, Valts, and if you can still stand me, then we will go with me as the B list. It was not supposed to happen. Yeah, it's a backfill. I'm on the B list, so it's not going to be great probably. We'll see. Then, thanks to Arvato, we are here. They've been supporting us for the whole year, actually. It is the only general partner. Everything has been signed, so happy to announce the next year's general partner. Guess who that is? Yeah, it's Arvato. Which means that we will be coming back with events. The next year is going to be amazing. Let's see what happens a year later. Right now, we're perfectly set. Everything's great. Then, happy to meet the organizers team. And actually, I brought guests, gifts. I'm tired. I think this is the only chance. So immediately, the great organizers team, this is from our budget, so don't worry, it's not on me. Thank you for, and there's one unplanned, but you're always with us, Andrea. Then where are you, Nadia? It's great, we have spent an amazing year. Then Martis, and who's still hiding? Edgars, where are you? Edgars and Wilmars are downstairs. That's how busy we are. And then Daria had to skip tonight. And one to me. Yeah, thank you. This is an underground non-profit organization. Others probably call it mafia. But as you see, all the important people are here, so it works. Then the organizers, others are hiding. These are the people, and then these people come from these and a few more companies. But then, since majority is from Zenith, then a quick shout out. This has been agreed with the orgs team. A quick shout out. The company ZenIS has got funding, EU funding, to build 5 AI agent integrations for their existing platforms. And 2 slots are still available, and it's 100% funded. The organization just pays the VAT. So if this sounds interesting, then find Zenith, find me, find whoever is on the slide. So that's a great opportunity, which is going to end like in a couple of days. Okay, then community goals. Who is the community? You are. Yes, do you know your goals? Who wants to read your goals? But then socialization and networking, that's why we're here. Grow the community. Today we are, at least if we look at the meetup, how much is it? 1,800, something like that, I think. So that's growing with every day. Knowledge sharing, that's what we do at these events every time. Happier DevOps specialists. and better AI practitioners. Again, this doesn't mean that DevOps is unhappy and that AI is bad at their work. It doesn't mean that. Stop asking. Then, the impact. More effective, more efficient, more sustainable, and more personal growth. I hope you all live by these rules. We, the org team, definitely do. Then, if you are looking for where are the social portals and where's the more information, but somehow you got this far, so obviously you know these. But anyhow, if you're not on one of these, then please follow up. By the way, do a quiz. We will have a quiz later tonight. So immediately, the first question: which platform is missing? I have a gift. No. Which platform is missing? Not TikTok, not X. YouTube should be here. No YouTube. Oh my gosh, first correct answer. And then the other platform which is missing on the screen. Yes, correct. And oh my gosh, I should have brought more gifts. It has a very nice, super small print on it. We were a little bit surprised by the size of it, but they said that we were warned. So that's how people do things. Then want to share. One speaker applied yesterday, so that's for the next year. There are a few lined up, but obviously we don't have a full next year's schedule yet, which means that pretty much anyone from you can get on this super nice stage to share your story. It doesn't have to be a technically geekly expertise. We don't actually like those, right? No, not true, of course. We try to come up with a very diverse content, a little bit of technical, a little bit of leadership, a little bit of social and experience stories, and so on and so on. You know. So what to do? Open DevOps LV, look their events or for speakers, and there's a form, and come and speak, come and talk. Then, I already said that we do have the next year's general partner. As per our rules, we can have 2 general partners, not more. 2 is our maximum, if I remember correctly. And then there's also other options like 1 even general sponsor, which means that no small sponsors. But if you want to be the small sponsor, then you can go with 1 even sponsorship. And if you're interested in that as a company, then again, on the website, you'll find all the information, and we'll share with you the booklet. Yeah. All right. Now, I think it's time. It's time for Stefan and Aleksandrs to start getting ready. And then I help prepared also. I'm not just improvising here, you know? I'm a serious guy. So Stefan, over 7 years of experience in data science and computer vision, he contributes to a variety of artificial intelligence projects. His role involves using machine learning seamlessly. He doesn't shy away from thinking outside the box or challenging assumptions when it helps move things forward. Do you have any idea who said that?
Myself.
Mm,
GPT, I don't know.
no, someone wrote that about you on your LinkedIn.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. So I trust it. It's not ChatGPT, so I trust it. But then handing you over the mic, you set up, and I'll quickly set up the presentation. And this is the another magical device.
Okay, we already got amazing introduction, so I don't know how to top that, but my name is Aleksandrs. I'm delivery manager here at Arvato.
And my name is Stefan Dayneko, and I am AI architect or dash data scientist here in Arvato.
Yeah, today we will talk a bit more about AI and responsible use. We have one specific use case in supply chain, but then we stepped out of the box and we'll share a bit some more on how we are dealing with AI here at Arvato. And so let's begin.
So initially, each story has its own beginning, and the same happened with the AI. So as we know, for example, in the human beings, we always start with the crawling, and the same happened with the AI. The technology does not appear itself as the random fact, and the random site is just, hey, let's design the neural network architecture like the same we have in our brain. But on the other side, it happened, or at least we found the roots and visions of the AI inside the myths. And more like an example for you, it was the Talos, which was the Greek mythology, and the robot which was designed by Leonardo da Vinci. So all that showcases that AI roots could be found more in the more ancient times rather than in the 50-year time span. Next, as the general progression we have in our human beings, where we start to walk. And the same happened with the AI. All the visions, all the ideas, all the, like, let's say, minor and vague experiments adapted and gained the shape and gained the body. And the same happened with the AI. We're building robots, we're building neural networks, we started to develop some logical thinking across the industry. Next thing, as the logical ending of that sequence, would be running. The human like to run. And the same is now happening with the AI. The technology is evolving very rapidly. Each day we have a new tech stack, and it's continuous sync and loop of things which we are part in. But now we have prepared, gathered a small statistics for you that top supply chains adopt AI at 2 times faster rate than the laggards. 74% of them say that AI is the top transformation driver amongst them. But on the other side, only 23% has the strategy for the AI adoption. And this is where we found the gap.
Yeah, we all know that AI is future. Probably you are being in a company where your manager says like, we should adopt more AI. And this is not only to supply chain, it's also to development and DevOps things. But when it comes to AI, we need to be efficient, and with efficiency, also the cost is improved. If we're just spending money, there is no point. So there are 3 points that I like to sort of highlight always when we are talking about AI and AI adoption, which are transparency, human replacement, and compliance pressure. So with transparency, it's very simple. We need to really make it clear how the AI works. And so we can explain all the hallucinations if there are any. So we can explain why we use it in certain processes or why we do what we do with AI. The second thing is replacement. There is such a huge temptation, especially in very mundane tasks, to replace humans with AI, for example, like taking in notes, administrations, or things like that. But we have to think like, okay, if we replace AI in 20 years, what's going to happen? Like, where's the knowledge going to be? Will AI in this specific role will be sufficient enough? Like, good example are development. Like, for example, if we now replace all the junior developers with AI, who's going to be senior in 20 years? We're going to just lose all the seniors, and who's going to maintain everything? Is there a strategy how we can think like AI can be also the senior? No. And the last thing is basically compliance. And this is basically about the data, about the regulations. So GDPR, EU AI Act. Soon there's going to be another act from Europe about data usage by AI and so on. And as companies, as specialists, we need to also think about that. We can't just feed any information to AI. So Stefan has devised a cool solution for one of his use cases, and he will walk us through a bit more on that. So yeah.
Thank you. So initially with our clients, we have found the following challenges. So as the top provider amongst the supply chain, they identified that they have low digitalization rate. So that means that a lot of processes that are going on inside are still managed and operated by the paperwork. So they each time they send the pallets to the clients, they need to sign up the paper. This paper needs to be scanned, sent to the other side of the world just to confirm that yes, we sent the goods. But then we once again need to send those pallets, sign the paper, send the paper. So a lot of paper in the 2025, okay? Then we have the transparency gap. So they have low visibility if the client have received the pallets, if there was no underneath shenanigans amongst the partners. So if the whole chain is transparent, if it's trusted. And the last one is the access barrier. So in order to produce some kind of high-level analysis or the high-level transportation deliveries, how to schedule the outbound deliveries or how to organize the orders, they need to be more into the topic. So we could not ask our intern or the junior specialist to perform high-level operations. And that's where we found the solution. So using the AI, we solved it by applying modular orchestration. That means that we have developed a solution where we could enable and disable features based on the needs or based on the level of the specialist. Next, we have designed chat with your data, which is adapting and enhancing each time. So we started with a more simple one. We were generating SQL queries. Now we have produced the whole MCP with a multi-agent environment. And the last one, we have adapted it to mobile and wearables platforms, which meaning that the specialists or the warehouse worker or any other part or let's say individual within the company could access, gain knowledge, and provide knowledge within the matter of his mobile phone. And the outcome from it, as you may already comprehend, is the process visibility. So now it's being traced. What does it mean?
Oh, okay, so.
Okay, so faster decision making and reduced manual effort as the logical outcome. But then I'm passing to Aleksandrs to showcase where we are now in the software development.
Yeah, so at the start of the summer, we had a hackathon where we had three cool cases. Stefan, next. Oh yeah, three cool cases like intelligence requirement and engineering for Jira, AI for QA automation, and AI-driven code generation. And out of that, next slide. And out of that hackathon, we created an R&D project where we are now developing basically this whole development lifecycle from structure and traceable plan with architectural designs and documented architectural designs, clear backend and front-end tasks. We are splitting backend and front-end as AI is still not that advanced. And then this test strategy and how we are testing all this, like where we need human effort, where we can do this with AI. And this goes for all the points. So it's not only like fully AI, but there are certain points where AI says, okay, I need input from you as a specialist. And then Stefan will talk a bit more on the technical parts of it.
So, and now if you feel that you have already defined all the necessary information that you need from the client, from any input part, so for example, developer, which conventions I'm using, from the DevOps, which cloud I'm using, So you defined all the necessary variables, meaning that AI has now the necessary information in order to produce some components from your side. So it could be either backend, so it could define the whole server functionality, or it could be the cloud. It could produce the whole YAML file, which would basically unwrap the cloud for you.
Yeah, and the balance. So what we said might sound like a vibe coding, but it's not really a vibe coding. It's a more structured one. Still, there is a lot of AI vibe coded 1,000 lines, but in a more sophisticated way. But with that, like, remember at the start I said efficiency. So there are 4 things that we discovered, like balance and speed and trust, because using more and AI on the same data, it gets more hallucinations. So we need to trust our solution. So that's why we need to understand what we can do fast and where we need to sort of slow down to put an effort. Responsible AI enablers. So still, as I said, people are still getting in touch with AI. AI asks for decisions on the people side. AI is a co-pilot, not a pilot. Oh, I mixed those up. Anyways, yeah, so we need to, when it comes to responsible and enabler within the organization, we need to set the clear structure and responsibilities, and that sort of follows who takes the sort of precautions, who is accountable, yes. And then last, humans stay accountable, and this is what Stefan already said, like who is accountable? And then is it developer, is it management, is it the user? And the future.
So now, like a wrap up, since we had only 2 minutes, but I guess it's a little bit more.
1 minute, okay.
So just a couple of words for you. So stay ahead of the technology. Look a bit farther than the just default news. Explore the feed, check out the technology. Empower innovation. Try out various AI methods within your work. Might be some of them will be applied and you could transform the whole industry just by your pet project. And create impact. So bring that AI into the field. Look into that technology because the world is evolving and we need to evolve within it. Not that side. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
No
but
questions?
We do have some time for questions.
Oh.
We do.
Scam.
Okay, so, yes.
My question is about one of the first slides, about the statistics.
Yep.
So the second maybe. So I was wondering, where did you get this data? I mean,
Gartner.
you did not show the source, or maybe can you just a bit talk about the research?
Yeah, so do you know this sort of research company called Gartner?
Yeah.
So basically they do these extensive research, and they I don't remember which, but they were asked by Supply Chain sort of Alliance to do this sort of research on AI. I think...
that there was another source that I currently do not remember, but it was like a helper for the Gartner.
Yeah, so basically in Gartner, I think afterwards you can chat with Uldis, and Uldis will ping us, and we can send sort of these sources.
Yes, and what were the countries? So,
Basically Eastern world, Europe and USA.
okay.
Any other? Yes, please.
Yeah, just a small question about this. It was mentioned some vibe coding. Actually, how you tackle the feeling that when you vibe coding some solution which uses AI in this life cycle, actually it's kind of double gray area. First of all, this source code with thousands lines, and basically then AI doing something with your data. So how actually to stay accountable here, to control what code does and what outcome will be.
So this is what we are doing in the R&D project. So basically we are defining clear guidelines for developers and what is acceptable use of AI and what is not acceptable use of AI. In sense, meaning you can't write a query like create me application that does this, this, and this. You have to have like specific requirements. And then when AI creates this vibe coded big block, we are working now, or we already have implemented that you can say, okay, I had this sort of requirement, where it is reflecting in the code, and then AI shows where it's in the code.
It's specs-driven development.
Yes.
Ah, okay. So you are using Hero.
Also.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yes. Yeah.
You mentioned the balance between speed and reliability.
Speed and trust.
Okay, speed and trust, that's right. So how actually do you measure the speed and the trust? I mean, are there any new metrics? Are you still measuring time to delivery for specific tasks?
Yeah, so for the speed, we basically use DORA metrics and some other KPIs. For quality, we are using like bug ratio and things like standard things that are applied to any other development. We are just applying them to AI. And there recently were a great study also by Gartner where they basically said, okay, how you can measure the success of AI, and one of the key metrics what they mentioned was DORA. And the other thing, how we can sort of measure the trust, it's basically it's gut feeling, but it's basically you working with your client. Does your client trust you? And when you create for them the application and there is like things that the customer didn't ask and AI, for example, hallucinated, can you explain this, why this is there? So the trust is more of a mutual thing between us as a delivery organization and the customer.
Thank you. We're out of time for questions. There's still a lot to do tonight. You see, everything's under control. Thank you. Right, I'm. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
And then a little gift to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And yeah, it takes a while. And then you do know what to do with the clicker. It should work, but then it's not like everyone knows you. Sorry, because you're definitely worth an introduction. So Gatis Ozols from Varam. How is that in English, by the way? Varam.
Smart administration and regional development.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Deputy State Secretary for Digital Transformation as well, responsible for national and government digital transformation policy and strategy development and steering. Scope of responsibilities includes information society policy and digital identity, data and public service governance, government ICT governance and AI policy, member of EU AI board. His values are openness, transparency, and a positive and curious attitude. Let's welcome Gatis.
Thank you. Yeah, that was nice LinkedIn abstracts, but most of this was about my team, not about myself. Yeah, I just wanted to zoom out a little bit. There were like two fantastic presentations. My presentation will be a bit more general because I come from the policy level, but maybe just for introduction, why it should matter also to you and be interesting, maybe because when you develop some products and then you put them into production or into the market, they sometimes are restricted by some regulation, and then you have to adjust to this. And other aspect is that at some point, if you develop the product, if you develop it for one or other use case, it may change the way how you the operational overhead that you have to comply with. I know about different regulations and so on. So I will, during this presentation, I will try to briefly debunk some myths about AI, about uptake of AI in Latvia, and about AI Act. Mostly I will speak about AI Act in like some very light version. So if you have some questions at the end, so please ask me. But the first, I wanted to just also start with some good news, because people like to look at the charts and see where is the Latvia and how we are doing with AI. Are we in good positions or in bad positions? And in most of the cases that we see in the EU, in Eurostat, they said that Latvia is somewhere in the middle or lower part, and the uptake is not so great. So I try to find some charts where we are doing great, because it's a positive event. And actually, we see that both at the business, European Investment Bank has made some research how companies are using Gen AI, and Latvia here is what's very important in ahead of Estonia. And there is other one, individuals that are using AI. It was a research or survey done by KPMG this year, and there's also Latvia from the European countries are one of the leading in a global position. But the message was to this, not like very to take it very kind of as some hard message on this, but to say that we can find the good news and bad news, but at the end of the day, it's about what we are doing and what products we are delivering. So it's not about the charts, but charts look nice and we can present them. Then how it's about in a government. So in government, speaking about some real use case, it's not like that we are using only ChatGPT for generating documents or minister speeches. There are a lot of different applications, and it even started not with Gen AI at some time ago. The first applications were the first ones were like a machine translation. It's not an AI, but now it grows into the virtual assistant platform. That the good thing is that not every institution is doing their virtual assistants, but we have like a common platform with shared knowledge where all institutions work. And if you approach the wrong institution, so it will redirect you to the correct one. Traffic monitoring, city management. Now, one of the biggest projects in the government has been a smart border, where you have like a sensor network on our eastern border, and it's by computer vision analyzing who is like going through the border, whether it's an animal or human, and can do such analysis and other things. So there are some other things that been done in the government sector. It's not really government; it's like a hospitals, but we are also proud on this medical AI assistants that's been in studying universities at stroke detection. Been placed into production. That it's by using of AI you can foresee by it was like 98%, I guess it was this rate of detection of stroke, and also some call center automation, quality control things, and others. So we are doing in government also a lot of things. But then if we approach to the regulation, there is another like a side of the coin when we are speaking about this. It's not only about the nice things. We see that in last years the number of risks of risks with high impact has increased according to MIT AI Risk Initiative. We can see that in starting from 2002 to 2024, it is grown around like 3 times, and also these are the risks only with high severity rating. It's like some damage to the health or over 10,000 euros damage and other things. So not the minor things. And what we see is that in the previous slides we could see that the adoption of AI grows, but on the other charts and consumer or citizen surveys, we see that the trust on AI decreases. So it also makes some urgency into the government what to do this. So the society actually is also demanding some guardrails for how we are using AI. And it's not about that the second myth that EU is innovating. I don't know. US is innovating, EU is regulating. We see that it is all around the world. We see that also in the US we have like a number of regulation on AI is like rapidly growing, but it's not growing on the national level. It's growing on the state level because they don't have this regulation on national. There are like a regulation in different states. Some are like very hard on regulation. 2016, 24, California 42 like local regulations. What's in this context, what's good in Europe is that we don't have like 20-something regulations. We currently are striving to have one regulation on all the Europe, and it's an AI Act. And now will be the light version of AI Act, also some mis-debunking. So what's the basic idea of the AI Act is like to have one common regulation for all the European countries, that you would like put your product into the market, and no matter in which country, you will have the same rules. And basically, it's like a risk approach that you have like a 4 layers. The first layer is unacceptable risk, that these are the solutions which are prohibited. So be aware if you are like working in those topics. I will show them. So be aware. You have to like check the regulation. Then is the high risk, where is the strictest obligations that you have to obey. There is also some information later on. And then is limited risk. Transparency requirements are here, and minimal risks are like, it's like a, yeah, you don't have to report anything. You just can use. Most of the Gen AI products will land here in limited risks, and here a requirement for you is to ensure transparency and watermarking if the content is being like adjusted by AI and so on. But then and then there are some exceptions where you don't have to comply with AI Act. It's like if you're doing these tools for the research, if it's like a pre-market development, so you are doing and testing, you are not putting into the market, not selling yet. Military, security, all the things that are always separately are also here separately. Individual use, so for your personal use, you don't have to comply. And then it's like a special requirements on open source if they are not in the high risk, unacceptable risk categories. But then if we go to specifics, what is some examples? It's not like a full list, but you can guess the vibe from unacceptable risk, which are prohibited. So social scoring, emotion recognition at work and education. So you cannot like follow your employees in call center, whether they are smiling or not smiling, and then have the bonus system kind of adjusted to this and so on. So it's not allowed. Also in education environments, you cannot like monitor the children in the school and to you can they're like a very small you have to go into the specific. If you have a case, 2 minutes, okay, I'm going. Then real-time biometric identification. It's like you cannot like scan the whole park with citizens and then see who is walking in the park. Predictive policing and harmful and manipulative AI. So don't make games which require for children to, I know, jump from different places to gain some points. So it will be regarding manipulative AI. The high risk, where the strictest obligations are the one where AI is serving as a safety component in some of the products. I know cars, some I know machines and so on. So that has to have a CE mark. So you have to obey those strict regulations. Then biometric identification, critical infrastructure, then utility services, other essential public services. Also requirement education and credit scoring, if you are making a credit scoring kind of system. So you have to obey those special regulations. Law enforcement, migration. So what's here in this, if you are in this level, so it requires you additional documentation on how you are training the system, how you are checking against biases and so on. So it's an operational overhead if you are in this zone. But you have to follow the guidelines, so because there are some situations which are on the border, and you sometimes may jump out of this, even if it's within this, because it's not about system, it's about the application and the use case. So it might have biometric identification, but if you use biometric identification for, I know, employees or for checking whether it has like some hat in construction field, so it might be go along and you could do this. Then it's about I will not stop to this, so maybe it's not so interesting. It's like how it applies. So currently it is in force the prohibited system, so don't work in this field anymore. So it's starting from February this year, it's already monitored. But then AI Act applies on the high risk systems from the next August, next August. But now we are currently in process of digital omnibus in Europe, because Europe has noticed that we are lacking behind on innovation. So we are trying to adjust the regulation, and probably some of those things will be postponed some half year and year later on. So this is, you have to follow like for the next half a year, and we'll see how we get along. And there will be also some other remedies implemented in the regulation for startups, small, medium enterprises, and so on. And just to wrap up, one of the things that we see that might be interesting for you when you develop no products before launching, we are now setting a regulation for sandbox. So our National AI Center will serve as a hub for sandboxing of AI solutions before putting into the market. So currently the regulation will be adopted whether next week or in the January. So if you're working on some of those systems, so you can apply and see how we can help with the regulation before you launch into the market. And here are some things that we are doing into the government regarding AI. And I have no time anymore, so you can read. But we will be happy to consult you in case you need some consultation on application of AI Act, GDPR, and so on. And we'll be also, of course, happy if you'll be developers for government systems as well. So thank you.
And we do have time for a couple of questions.
You mentioned the part of like training and revealing documentation on that, etc. My question is, what about big platforms that are providing API like OpenAI and others? Or should we kind of be waiting for them to comply with those rules with the EU AI Act? Or this is up to us as developers, as owners of the final product to kind of figure that out with them, or do our own research, or kind of how do we prove how do we comply in that situation?
Yes, in the regulation there is also like a second layer. It applies for GPIs, for general purpose artificial intelligence, like large language models, and they have to comply for this regulation. Currently there are guidelines that are adopted, and now the platforms are working on this to comply with this. And basically for them the main requirement is also to have like a transparency on what sources have been used of data for training the systems, how they approach their biases, and so on. So currently it's up to them to comply with, and there's a separate section into the regulation for them.
Does it mean that I, as a, let's say, application author, can any other requirements on
No,
application?
You will still have to comply with your specific product, because you will use just as I know, one of the tools or components of your product. But then you have to use probably the tool this model that is compliant with the regulation.
And then my application will be compliant in terms of this requirement, right?
It has to be a compliant source, but still, if you're working with your application in Gen AI, yes, then you have like this transparency requirements as anyway, because it's not like guaranteed by the model, and also like this watermarking. But in most of the cases, yes. But if you apply in some of the high risks, so there could be that you need also some additional things if you apply for high risk kind of application.
One last question. Gatis, choose.
I didn't saw who was the first one.
On the back, on the very back, I think was the first one.
Okay, then
I help kids to learn better coding and learn better Word and Excel. So what I need to know and do this, and what I need to know. This is the risk.
So if you're doing it just for yourself, so you don't need anything, because it's for your personal use. But if you want to make a product, then probably it won't be a high risk product. But so you just need to use a proper model and develop.
Okay, someone's very eager there. Yes, I know you, so you get a chance. Yes.
Definitely we are, because in government we like have no in-house development currently. The government is only working with the companies who are providing the products and services. We have some like I know that Jānis Ziediņš was some time ago, and he's one of the guys who was very practical working with AI tools. But apart from this, in most of the cases, we are doing the tendering process, and then who one comes who that develops the platform for the government as well. Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So yes, thank you.
Enjoy. Okay. And now it's time for a little 15 minutes break, and then we're back to 3 or 2.5 amazing talks.
December 16th, 2025. Meet up in pizzas with people who are alive and kicking. DevOps and AI are at it again. They're meeting in Latvia. Meeting in Latvia. At 4:30, it's Stefan, Dayneko, and Aleksandrs Ķikuts from Valts in a toll. That's a router from Tennis is gonna be there too. And then there's a 15-minute break. And the days has arrived, so there's really a reason to stay. And won't take a long time. December 16th, 2025. Meet up in pizzas with people who are alive and
How do I actually do this? What do I do? Present. Probably this is the wrong screen to use. I'm not sure, but let's try. Let's try. We click next, and if it will show you. Why this thing is here? Yeah. Okay. And it. Yeah. You do. You do. You. What is the inspirational slogan of this event? And come curious, leave inspired, got the most votes. But then I'm right now learning this platform. It doesn't show which one was correct. Reveal the answer. Yes, that is correct. And we move forward. Most speakers tonight are flying solo. Who are the only two speakers sharing the stage as duo? And Stefan and Aleksandrs must be correct. I believe so. We reveal the answer. Yes. Good job. Good job. And the next. Yoga for sysadmins. I love that. And the most votes get simplicity as a strategy. And the correct answer, yes, simplicity as strategy. SaaS, I suppose, was the concept. Amazing. What did Gatis talk about? Three, two, one. Artificial Intelligence Act is the most upvoted answer, and yes, you are correct, but a dramatic reading of the GDPR regulations definitely gets a praise. Thank you. Moving on, next question. That was too dramatic. I'm sorry. I did not do that. Yes, and the most upvoted having time and sanity in product teams. The history of the trash icon on Mac 1, I would love to see that. But yes, you were right, the most of you. Kaspars is getting ready as we speak. Is Kaspars big on crypto? And upvoted building with people in mind, but the correct answer is yes, that is the correct answer. And that was the number 6. So are you ready? Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, reveal. Greg! I'm not a great DJ. This is my first experience, actually. Honestly, I love it. I'm gonna be a DJ now. And then, first of all, who is my credit card? That is it, Alex? No, but it's his friend. Yeah, this is, yeah, great. And then the Robo. Who's the Robo? Is this your second ball? No? Okay. And then Greg. Greg gets a very, let me count. Yeah, we should be fine. 1, 2, 3. We should be okay. We should be okay. Greg, do you want a red ball? No. Do you like sweets? And do you like to write? Yes. Then this is a perfect gift for you. Congrats.
Thanks.
All right, and then Kaspars, where is he? Yeah, Kaspars, you definitely can prepare yourself for the big opening. Let's make sure it is on. Yep. Okay. Then let's think, what else do I need to do?
Presentation, probably.
Probably, but I'm not sure. Because let's see, presenter window. I need to read agenda. I'm sorry, agenda, and then this and that. Yes, it's all correct. It's correct. And then the great AI Studio. This is the clicker. And then, of course, I came prepared as a very serious guy. So Kaspars is an AI project lead and the manager of AI Studio, specializing in digital transformation, workforce upskilling, and practical AI adoption. He works closely with companies and educational institutions to help them understand and implement modern AI technologies, including open source models, local AI solutions, and emerging skills for the future work.
Thank you. kind of funny. It's the third time happening to me that previous speaker spoke about the same topic that I want to speak. But okay, I'm gonna build upon that and dig a bit deeper. AI Studio is one of the projects. It's an umbrella now. We try to help companies implement AI. The second project that I want to talk to you today is AI Act. And I'm building awareness and why we even need it in Europe. And together with partners from Berlin, Standards, Germany, and Latvian IT cluster, bringing awareness today, why it's needed, and later we will develop workshops on which risk categories do you fall or don't fall. So I'll start with what was the technological boom before that Silicon Valley's like motto. It's was not official that we have to move fast and break things, clear them up, build more, and let's just do it, innovate, and don't regard anything. But in process, they are losing some things that now are coming up. Most importantly, already someone said, they're losing trust in these systems. Public trust and user trust. We are creating silos where there's no civic discourse even. Is this applicable, or what data do we use? That's why we have this Brussels effect. When we talk about values and what fundamental rights humans have, so we build things that last and we still are democratic. And transparency is one of the main things to provide stability for these systems. Some case studies. First, how the train went and what they built. One solution was in healthcare service, where they provided algorithm that people after rehabilitation, they created this automatic algorithm that calculated how much rehabilitation they needed. So AI just could take the decision and just leave that to AI. They also, of course, they said there's going to be a specialist that will check if AI has made the right decision. It was on regression models, on 6 million records trained model from all the contextual data. But the train wreck was that this data first was trained on old data where black people were not using this service because they didn't have money, so they appeared healthier in this model that they don't need even to stay on this rehabilitation leave as long as white people. Also, the process was only 0.2% appealed of this automatic reason, and of these 0.2 that appealed, 90% were overturned by judges. So the judgment was wrong. Also, there was fake oversight. Physicians were disciplined for deviation if the person deviated from that AI model that decided when to leave. If the physician deviated from the 1%, it was discipline for that. And at the end, 2 people died because of that malpractice, and AI law was taken place there. Next one, probably you have heard, in Netherlands, there was algorithmic risk model to detect childcare benefit fraud. Mission was to protect taxpayer money, ensure program integrity. There were safeguards, also promise of modern governments and data-driven fraud prevention. But The train wreck, again, was that they created this self-learning model that civil servants couldn't even see why it made this decision and just blindly trusted the system. 26,000 innocent families were wrongly accused of fraud. And basically, it picked that dual nationality was primary risk variable. And if you were a dual national, you have it, then you were, there was excessive scrutiny for immigrants and mathematically reinforcing with learning the discrimination. And victims were placed on hidden government list even to not get more loans and everything. It led to bankruptcies, homelessness, divorces, suicides. 1,115 children were taken because of the algorithm, and even the Dutch government resigned when the COVID hit the strongest there. The next one is New York City chatbot that was created to advise companies, business owners for legal that remove friction and regulatory compliance for small businesses, advise them on these advices, architecture RAG system, Microsoft Azure of OpenAI. It works 24/7, navigating complex federal regulations. Again, the train wreck was that at the end, the chatbot advised in many cases to break the law. For instance, it said that the employers can take the cut of the tips that's illegal in that federal law. Also, that they can not take vouchers. There's the system in US, and and then legal experts warned that this predicament could imply that they could use it in court, that this model told them that illegal part, and then it would be kind of legal in a way. And that's why EU is looking at this to not to mitigate these risks. They are implementing this AI Act. We will still make mistakes, but we are looking at it, how to mitigate them. You can look at it as for your children. You buy a toy, you want to be, so it needs to be compliant. It's not that it's safe for them to play with it. It's the same with AI Act, that it's safe, these models. And Gatis already told about the risk approach, also told about unacceptable risks, social scoring, one of the Black Mirror episodes. What he maybe didn't mention was untargeted scraping for recognition, and also biometric categorization, meaning that you can't scan your face and like try to guess what political party you will vote for based on your face or your sexual orientation. That's not acceptable. But innovation is still open. You can do a lot of things. There are a lot of high risk things you have to comply with, do the documentation, but innovation is not banned. It's for our fundamental rights, values, so we can sustain this society. And at the end, I think trust is the new gold standard, and we can use, I think companies and you can use the EU Act compliant as a marketing tool, like we used it also previously on eco products. It's the same strategy. So thanks. And as this is EU project, I advise please take a survey about what today you learned with me and Gatis, so we can create these workshops later better. And thank you for your attention today. Any questions? Or Gatis already? Okay.
Yeah, I have a question regarding this AI healthcare optimization. Just philosophic one. Don't you think that in future, maybe near, maybe far away, basically, this AI stuff, AI healthcare, would be for all general people, but the human as a specialist would be for rich people. I mean, AI for general people and human.
Yeah, for healthcare,
for
it's
health, for law, for any.
exactly for health reasons, and where human life is at stake. Human always needs to be at the place where the decision is made. You can't automate that. That's in EU Act. But in the future, I still think humans needs to watch out of on what data, garbage data, this model has trained. You will always need this phase of human. Yeah. Yeah.
How to design this ML models in such a way to prevent these very serious social biases that you explained throughout the presentation? How do you approach this?
One option is to use sandboxes to test it with different things. Test it. Have you missed something in the data? That's one of the approach. Yeah, testing in sandboxes. Nothing else comes to mind right now. Yeah.
I remember that the regulation wouldn't apply for something that is for my personal use.
Yeah, yeah.
What if I set up a camera on the side of my yard and just gather some biometrics data from the bypassers?
It's not GDPR compliant.
Yeah, there's also other laws that, for instance, that chatbot, it's legal, but you have to displace that it's using AI. But if it detects fraud and advises you to break law, another law takes place, not AI. You can't. Yeah.
What kind of penalties are proposed or planned for the failure to follow the SNAP?
Yeah, it was 7%, if I'm not from the years. Total in revenue. Yeah, or 30 million something. I think it was 2 options. Yeah.
What about the infrastructure? Have you set up already something from the infrastructure side? For example, who will actually review these documentation? Like other people, AI, or maybe there are something. What do you think about how it should look like?
I'm not that deep inside sandboxes. Maybe Gatis can comment, but yeah, we're just raising awareness and creating like dumbed down versions so companies can understand. But probably it's sandboxes, and that's a big topic also in education now and for companies.
Because otherwise, it's like people will sit and review the recommendations. They will just feed the PDF into the ChatGPT and just ask, okay, this is compliant or not? You'll answer, yes.
Yeah, but I tried use case to ask ChatGPT, and it said that that chatbot was illegal and high risk, but it wasn't. It's compared to different things. It always needs to be human. Also, there are omnibuses changing things. Probably, yeah, you can, but you can't say ChatGPT said me, I'm compliant, and just go with that. You can, describe.
Okay. Last question.
Are there any public tenders coming up, or how does it look in the future? So about the seal of trust, seal of trust, which companies will be requesting it, and it will be like one of the standards?
Yeah, actually, I'm not quite sure about this. Maybe Gatis, you know what companies can say, yeah, this is compliant.
It's like when you talk about the certification scheme,
the companies who do the certification can be able to qualify as certifiers, but there are not yet anyone in Latvia who does this. So this Lataka will certify them, and then they will be able to or someone not only in Latvia, across Europe.
Yeah, there's also tools in European Commission webpage. You can go through and check if you are in any risk categorization, and then it will forward you to how to get that. They are helpful from their side to go through the all regulations.
Okay. Thank you, Kaspars.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm.
I will
Doesn't
help
also-
with that.
okay.
And then, yeah, it's
stuck.
stuck
I have to be
forever. How did you do that?
I don't know.
Yeah. And then, as the next speaker of tonight, I introduce you with who has touched my computer? And then why no one is coming, after the microphone? Yeah, okay, that's getting better. Then please, no rush. Well, I wanted to put up a slide, but we don't need it. What we need is, and then Valts, Chief Information Officer at Double Helix Technologies, software engineer with more than 20 years of experience, having supported voice IP, finance, insurance, and currently life science industries. As a co-founder and CTO of Double Helix Technologies, he finds it fun to change hats now and then and participate in both technical and non-technical aspects of building innovative solutions. It is important to him always to keep learning and helping others become better versions of themselves. Meet Valts.
Yeah, well, it's already pretty well explained who's this guy, so you already heard. One thing I wanted to also mention is that I get bored quite easily, so that's why I like to change the hats now and then, go into deeper technical topics, but then also fly a bit more on the surface and try to get some organizational work done, which I don't enjoy if it's too much. So I could tell that I'm touchy with some rudimentary organizational skills. And today's topic about simplicity and applying it as a strategy. Well, there is not much what to say. It's quite simple. Just don't overcomplicate things, and your life will be easier. Presentation is over, right? Kind of self-explanatory. But on the other hand, pretty much every such thing is something ancient, something that has worked forever. We just give them meaning, give them words, write it down, make presentations about it. Someone maybe wrote a book or maybe 5 books, bestsellers. Then yet another book, How to Become a Rich Man by writing bestsellers. But so for me personally, why the simplicity is the one which allows me to keep being lazy is that I like things to be easy to manage. I don't want to spend too much time on trying to decipher why something failed. I want to see it on the surface. So if the system that I'm building is as simple as possible, then I minimize the time that takes for me to arrive to the root of the problem. Same applies to the team, which works on the system that maybe I helped creating, so they are not maybe cursing my name too often. Yeah, like lower cognitive load, I guess also pretty self-explanatory. When you get a new teammate, if your system is complex, then the new teammates would probably take 3 to typically 6 months to become useful. If the system is way simpler, then you basically get more value of adding someone to the team. It's also then way easier for someone to just jump into the situation and help solving a problem. And yeah, we could just go on, and it's a simple concept. Then if we make everything too simple, then will there be anything left? So to counterbalance that, there is also some added complexity where it is necessary, and that's about delaying the lock-in. So if I don't know about which dependency is the best for my project, I would do pretty much everything possible to avoid myself painting into a corner so that I cannot get out without ruining the freshly painted floor. That typically adds some more abstraction. Abstraction is always complexity. So if we think about like this very simple case, we have a database, we have a backend, we have REST API, and we have some React single web page, single page application. So if you open some demo on internet, it will typically just promote taking database entities and exposing them to the front end, which I don't think is the best way to do it, because what if you want to change things around in the back end? Then they are immediately exposed to the front end, right? So I would pretty much always add some kind of abstraction layer, like, I don't know, simple, trivial data transfer objects, which is more work, which is yet another abstraction layer, which is unnecessary if I'm building just some demo application. But as soon as it becomes something more complex, then so these abstraction layers are becoming necessary, and they make systems more complex. So there is always this fight between the necessary complexity, which should pretty much always stem from the functionality, from what the system is supposed to do. And everything else is accidental. It's accidental complexity. Worst case scenario, it is accidental architecture. Been there, done that, I know. It's just one day wake up and then, oh crap, who did this? Okay, well, part of it was done by me. And then we have to figure out how to get out of the hole where we have dug ourselves in. So why all this? Why all this simplicity? Why all this delaying the lock-in? And it's the simplest slide of them all, because the ability to change is the only insurance we actually have against the uncertain future. We can do all the predictions, we can base it on data, we can base it on gut feeling, experience, but if I don't have to rely on these guesses, however educated they are, then that's the best situation to me, right? Because there is absolutely nothing guaranteed about the future. So the only way how to be somewhat resilient against what will come after half an hour, after a week, after a year, is our ability to change the system. And the system is whatever you develop. Is it really like a software system with 150 layers or microservices and whatnot? Is it just a CI pipeline? Maybe you have some pretty complex pipelines. What if 5 new projects come in? Then how easily can you adopt? What if the languages change? What if, I don't know, business case changes, platform changes? So yeah, that's my only insurance. A couple of case studies. So this is like the better case, which was done by applying some of these strategies, so to say. So I was in a place where we were tasked, like I and my team, we were tasked with building a new system, which is order management, laboratory status system. So it sits in between many other systems. There is something in the DNA laboratory. There is something that deals with sales, something that deals with invoices. And already from the get-go, I was just fresh in the company. There was like a certain push that, hey, man, let's do all this fun stuff. Like, let's do microservices. Let's do CQRS. So I had to Google what the hell that one is. And let's do maybe sagas if you don't want to do CQRS. Well, CQRS is like different models where you write data in one model and then it gets basically copied over to another model where you read it from. Good. Means peace. And or victory. And then, yeah, of course, we read all these definitions, and we figured out that we don't need so much complexity because we have no idea if this application is going to live after half a year. So we just went with modular monolith, applied some abstractions inside of it, and so far we that product, it still hasn't needed any microservices. It is still a monolith. It has been modified to satisfy a different business line successfully without all of that complexity. And then the other one is something I worked on a bit longer. That was a huge insurance system. It was coupled so that the user interface talks to the backend, and that all is very tightly integrated. So we wanted to change the technology, which was Google Web Toolkit. And it was absolute pain in the bottom because everything was tied together. So that's when we invented a new architectural pattern, which was called Wrap the Third. So you basically take something that you cannot afford to change, which stinks, and try to wrap it in a nice paper and present as something that is good. And it looks fine from the outside. When you start to dig in, oh, better don't. So yeah, thanks. That was my TED talk about why simplicity matters and why simple things are actually quite hard to implement, because that takes discipline, that actually forces me and everyone else who tries to apply these ideas to understand what we are building, why, and to whom. Thank you.
And the question is over there, full of questions, actually.
Yeah, the one in the back. Okay. Yeah.
So have you discovered any clear indicators or flags that basically indicate when you lock in or anything, or is that just pure skill and experience?
When I lock in into something, that is something that I would deem as low risk, a very low probability that I will want to jump out of it. Like for Java developers, that would be Spring Boot. It is pretty elastic framework. So if you really want to get rid of it, it is still possible. It's not like locking you in permanently and indefinitely.
Can you ask the second one as well?
Yeah, sure.
How did you wrap the third?
Just write internal APIs, and it was like interface first. We tried to understand with my colleague what the third does, what it's supposed to do, design the APIs which look like it actually does what it is supposed to do, and expresses it in clear manner instead of how the third was designed, that you have to really go through the implementation to understand what it is meant to do. So we tried to put that presentation on the top layer so that it's obvious. Then the system becomes somewhat simpler for the learner because they can look at the API, okay, it's clear what this thing does. I don't have to open the wrapping. Yeah.
from a technical perspective, how do you understand that your micro architecture is simple?
Well,
What do you look at?
the key word is understand. If it is easy to understand it, it's probably quite simple.
But on what you look at? So,
From technical perspective, so if I'm just reviewing code base, I would look at the structure. How is it structured? Is it clear what the system does? Is it on the surface? So if I look at Java or C# project, I would look at the directory structure. Can I understand what the system's business meaning is? So if it uses domain-driven design, then it becomes way easier. I see the components like, oh, there is order, there is payment, there is something else. If it is like cake layers, then it is way harder. Then I have to go to like database tables, for instance.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
One last question still. Sorry, Muritan, one last question. You are moving the mouse all the time. It's funny. Yeah, question from Muritan. Okay, then thank you.
Oh,
which
yeah.
one first?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we move to the B-list speakers, the backfills. Okay.
mine, no?
Finally, the backfills. Still, Greg is the guy of the evening, but if we talk about backfills, then unfortunately you get only me. And then I've been experimenting with all kinds of groups and cultures and methods and ideas for, let's say, 10 years, actually a little bit more than 10 years. So I'm kind of excited to try out unconventional ideas, let's put it this way. And then, who has read the book Tribal Leadership? 2 people? Okay, cool. This book was suggested to me when I was in a pickle. When I was in a pickle, I ended up with a team where, how to even put that? People were thinking and acting and behaving differently. They had different values. It was not something what I was used to, and I couldn't really figure out kind of why. And then someone, a professional coach, suggested me to read this book. Unfortunately, I read the book after I was out of the company, but later on I understood kind of what it's about. Today is not going to be about the book, but it sounds interesting, right? So I suggest you to read the book. But in the book there is one important concept, which is, well, I'll tell you. But generally, the book says that by looking at how people communicate, you can tell a lot about their culture. So communication, often words, literally words, can show you what is the culture of your company or family or society or a group of people. So let's get to the story. We have George for tonight, the Drupal Swiss knife. If you don't know what is Drupal, then you are not old. Then we have Elsa, the DevOps ninja. We have Ogwe, the project manager. And we have the Fox, our client. Okay? All characters in the story are fictional. Okay? Everything is fiction. No real people. Even if you're thinking, I know that person. No, not real, not true, completely. So, there is such a portal in some mystical place, in some mystical country. And then the Fox is responsible for the portal, and Fox has providers, service providers. And one day, the portal stops to function, just breaks down. You know, a typical downtime, as it happens. So the Fox calls over WhatsApp, just sends a WhatsApp message to the George. Obviously, George is the person who knows how to fix the portal. So that's happening. Unfortunately or fortunately, the Drupal Swiss knife is on holidays, but he's like, yes, wait for it. Okay. So obviously, George immediately is like, why? People are calling me on my vacation, but sends a few nice messages to DevOps Ninja Elsa, which gets translated automatically with AI into something convenient. The portal is down, and then also he sends a message that fox, blah, 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 and that nicely with AI gets translated into the portal is down and project manager gets informed. So already AI is of great help here. Then obviously what Ninja does, Ninja fixes the portal. Let's be honest, what do you think, how many commands on a kubectl that takes? 1. Exactly. And if there would be a little monitoring added, which we added later on, then even that's not needed anymore. So it's okay. The DevOps magic, as we used to call it 5 and more years ago, it works. Meanwhile, what happens? So obviously, the fox is calling nicely to the project manager saying, blah, 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 is happening, and the project manager is like, we just fixed it again. What's what? Okay, yeah, okay, get it. Kind of a little bit confused, and they go look at the portal, and the portal is up. Project manager got a message from George that it's down, right? And kind of feel silly. They look at the portal, and the fox is like, wow, yeah, it's up. Both of them think something weird is happening. There's some issues with communication or whatever. Well, so what does George did? What George did? He sent 2 private messages. One to his probably low, probably not low. We will never tell because AI is messing the messages. And then he sends one message. That is called dyads, one-on-one communication. How many of you every day send a couple of one-on-one messages? I'll be a little bit, yeah, I'm expecting a way more hands. You're not being truthful. Okay, I accept that. It's hard to accept it. So, and then, of course, if everyone else does the same thing, then we get this a little chaos, because what happens on the other side is the project manager hears George 1, George 2, George 3, Elsa 1, Elsa 2, kind of the overwhelmed with messages. The same with the fox, kind of. If everyone is sending a private message to the fox, like what's happening, and so on and so on. So dyads don't work. If we think about what happens in return, then people answer like, hey, what's up? And this person says, ask George. This person says, ask George. And that's what starts happening. Everyone's calling George, who most probably is a person who says, it's cool. Because everyone's calling, right? But in reality, all those calls are stuck in a loop and no one's getting any help if it has been more than one quick accident with one platform. So dyads don't work. We are burning money, everyone's money, time, money, whatever, how we call it. So what we could have done differently? Of course, you could say, there needs to be an alerting system and things like that. Yes, of course, but I'm right now talking about simple communication. I'm not talking about AI ops fixing our systems. I'm talking about communication. And then think what would happen if George, instead of sending 2 private messages, could have sent 1 message to Elsa and Ogwe. And immediately we have a communication happening here, both of them in the loop. So that is a triad. If we use the same concept going further, then triad and more people, everyone gets included in the small circles and people start communicating with each other. Of course, you can say miscommunication always still will happen, of course, but at a lower rate. People start talking in circles. And kind of that is the strong concept, one of concepts of that book which I mentioned. It has a chapter on triads. Read it. Then, of course, triads are always better. So the wolf did not stop after 2 piggies. This is not going to work tonight, okay? So let's try another one. So tech troubleshooting. Try turning it off, turning it on, off and on again. Better? Better. Then, of course, 3 kids, no argument. Democracy works. So triads are always better. And of course, we save money. People start communicating with each other. Try it. What we do is we in a company, we have guidelines. We have actually rules on triads. We stopped doing pair programming and changed it into triad collab, because pair programming suggests that 2 people talk with each other and to no one else. So we banned pair programming or strong pairing, if you like that name better. Yeah, so thank you. I don't know how long was it, but I hope less than 10 minutes. Thank you. Happy to take questions. And I'm right now multitasking like crazy. You can see that. But let's leave this one on. At some point, I actually wanted to work there, but they missed me. So, yeah, there was a question. I think this one was first.
How's the triad coding working out? Like, I'm curious about that.
Do you know mob programming as a concept?
No.
It's kind of pretty much the same thing, but was created years ago for a group of people, but with a very similar approach. And then more or less we're doing that. So instead of a driver and kind of in addition to driver and navigator, we have the expert. And actually in a mob programming, it's pretty much the same concept. But here we call it triad collab because when people hear mob programming, they get a little bit scared. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, in my company I have kind of opposite problem, not like the communication between 2 channels, but like there's like you start with the 3, but then like the channel like is growing, and you end up like 10 people who has like their own opinion. So how to keep that focus and like start throwing out people?
So yeah, and that is a great question. Someone told me to say that when someone asks to you something what you kind of don't know how to respond to. I'll top up on that. There is a practice, for example, during incidents, the so-called war rooms, when everything's down, everyone gets in the same channel. But then it may become a complete chaos that now it's 50 people on one problem and watching how one person is doing something and waste of time. Fortunately, I don't have that problem. Let's go back to some other experience. At some point, people naturally drop those channels or they mute them. They are 50 there, but they don't look at it anymore. So maybe it's not a problem to try to fix in the first place. Maybe it's not a problem. Yeah.
For me, it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm in several such chats, and then every hour I have like 2 or 3 times just ping, just message comes in, and then I lose focus. I cannot like develop something, work on some systems. So basically, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thing to just so there's no misunderstanding. Getting into chaotic kind of ad hoc small triads and more is the informal approach. So people quickly discuss and leave. but then for for, let's say, a platform support team, there should be a dedicated channel with the right people in it. It should not be some ad hoc channel, which typically is used for platform support. So there needs to be also a structure. Maybe that helps. Maybe the structure is missing, and that's why there is the big channel and random things. Maybe that helps. Yeah.
Thanks for the presentation. So, yes, because of war room incidents, I know that there's a limit of 250 people in teams. So
Good.
People to be added as participants in the chat, but in reality, there was need to add more, and it doesn't work. But my question is regarding the Mr. Fox in your presentation as client. So, not the problem, but situations happen because the client used like wrong communication channel. He started with some direct message. There was not like special gate for him what to start and what system to use, to maybe some ticketing systems and start with service desk, and then it will be auto-assigned to some specific group. If this group requires a try and help, that they will add more people, and it will be like growing, and then only add those people who are really required to solve this incident, not to bother others who are busy with other work. Yes, so just so answers, for example, for this specific try to solve this specific try case. This is
Yeah, it's example. I don't hear a question.
the communication channels to start with the client and what they need to use.
Yeah. And then, yes, then literally an email which I responded to some specific person on a client side was, you do have access to service desk. It's not about this. It's not related to this. That's always fictional, right? But to a completely other client, like, you do have a service desk. We have created an account for you. We can give you a training. Please use it. And on the other side, it's like, I'm going to send you an email and that's it. And never bother me again. And do not ask me for this approval to do something else. And so on and so on. So it is very much about communication, system and rules and what's in the contract and the relationship, all kinds of things. But when the system goes down, then typically for person in crisis, what's up? Because that works. Yeah.
Manager and somebody on top of him is also kind of hanging, and if he says that I've sent a ticket, that's not helpful for his career either.
And gets an automated response. Yes. We got your ticket. Yeah, all right. Well, thank you for coming. The last thing, what we, the organizers team, very much want to hear from you, a real feedback. This is not the Meetup platform. This is our how do we call this? Okay, Google Forms. But then if you get an invite from Meetup, leave us some feedback, then please do that as well. And thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, right. And then there are some few more beers. I have no idea what the hosts say, but they are not going to throw us out this very second. So have a little talk, discuss. There's music.
Is the disco plant? Yeah.
There's some music. Yeah, it's never off. We can't shut it down. It's it's AI generated. It doesn't end.
December 16th, 2025, the meeting in at 4:30, it's Stefan, Dayneko, and Aleksandrs.
16th, 2025. Meet up in pizzas with people who are alive and kicking. DevOps and AI are at it again. They're meeting in love.